Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes these days. I'ma try my best to make this light, but if I don't wake up tomorrow, then the sun will still be.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the One Step at a Time podcast with your host, the Ocean Flight 111, heading straight to full potential with zero delays. And I'm very blessed to have a guest today. My guest today comes straight out of San Francisco. He's a rapper, songwriter, and producer with over 600,000 monthly listeners on Spotify and has accumulated over 70 million streams across platforms. His vulnerability and determination to never limit himself with his craft has earned him fans around the world, including multiple tours across America. He might call himself a late bloomer, but he's certainly grateful for his journey. I'd like to welcome Stevie Ray to the podcast. Stevie, how you doing?
What up, man? That's a good intro. I didn't know I had 70 million streams. That's cool.
Well, from my calculations now, I did fail maths in secondary school or high school, as you guys would call it.
No, I'll take your word for it. I appreciate the intro. It was very kind. How you doing?
No, yeah, man, I'm doing good. It's currently, I appreciate actually you're bringing it back to 2 p.m. because I miscalculated. I'm based in Ireland, so I'm 8 hours ahead of you.
Okay. Got it.
I slightly miscalculated the time difference when I was locking it in. But I'm doing well, man. I whacked out a podcast this morning and doing this one now, so I'm in good flow. Stevie, I want to get into the journey. As I said in the intro, you're someone personally I really feel like your career epitomizes determination and resilience. Like no matter what, you've just kept going. I want to bring you back to the early days and the Sweatshop Steve days, and I want to bring you into what that era was like. What were them early days like? Doing shows at the Bay. I know you opened for KRS-One. What were them early shows like, and where were you at your headspace, I guess, in them days?
Sure, yeah. Oh, it's funny because right before you asked if there's anything you didn't want to talk about.
You want to cut that out? We can cut that out if you want.
No, it's fine. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. I'm just always very embarrassed by that name. It didn't age well.
Fair.
But no, I mean the early days. I think I was very eager for my life to go in a different direction. You know, I was excited about music, and it was. I didn't feel like to that point in my life I'd really found anything. I was pretty lost. I didn't have a lot of direction in life. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't like what I did for work. I didn't see a lot of promise in really anything that I was doing. But I knew that I really liked music, and I knew that that it was. Hold on one second. Sorry, I just realized I need to turn my monitoring on.
Yeah, you're okay.
I knew that I really liked music, and I knew that it was something like that I cared to work hard at. Like I slacked off in school. I slacked off at all my jobs. Like I didn't ever want to do much of anything besides like hang out with my friends. But I'd come home from work and I'd stay up all night and I'd work on music. And that was a tell to me that there was something there. And so I was really excited. There was a lot of energy behind it, but I didn't really know who I was, and I didn't know like how to, I didn't have an identity, I feel like, as a musician. So I was just kind of like trying to find that by trying on a bunch of different suits, you know, like a bunch of different masks. But there was like one thing that was there, which was like an energy to it. We would play shows, and none of the music aged that well, but we could rap, and we really rocked out on stage. And there was there was an energy there. There was obviously something. There was a seed. But there was I think I had a lot of discovery left to do.
Figuring out. Before even that period, I want to bring you back even a bit further, maybe to your childhood. I know I've seen in video you spoke about how you studied Mac to Cole to Lauryn Hill to like Jimi Hendrix. What's your first introduction? What's your earliest memory of music when you were a kid?
My dad played instruments. He played guitar and bass, all the string instruments. And, you know, we listened to a lot of music when I was a kid. We listened to a lot of classic rock, a lot of grunge, a lot of Motown, a lot of jazz, a lot of blues. And so, yeah, like as a kid, I remember, like, I think some of my first heroes were the guitar gods, you know, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, which is how I got my name.
That
Eric
makes so much
Clapton,
sense.
Right. And then also, like, Miles Davis, Coltrane. When I was a kid, I remember, like, I have this distinct memory of being certain that Aretha Franklin was the best singer on planet Earth, like in history. Like if you ask like a 6-year-old Stevie, like, who's the best singer, I'd be like, Aretha Franklin, and I list all of her songs. Like, so yeah, there was a lot of music in the house growing up. I love the Presidents of the United States. They had that first record that they had. I used to like ride. I remember I'd go to the dump on Sundays with my dad, and we'd listen to that album in his little red pickup truck. So I have all these memories attached to music, and I learned how to play the guitar when I was a kid, and and my first like aspiration was to make rock music. And then I found the Beastie Boys, and then I found Eminem and 50 Cent, and it was on from there.
Dope. I love that. I love that. It seems like it's a cherished memory going to the dump. It's such a funny image to pick, going to the dump, like, but within that you had such a nice memory. I really like that.
Yeah, well, we would go to the dump. We'd take his little pickup truck. He would take me to 7-Eleven. We'd get like a Slurpee or like a soda, and I remember he would let me throw the can on the ground after I finished it. And it was just like, I was just hanging out with my dad was really like what was cool. It was like a thing we would do, and we'd listen to the music that my mom maybe wouldn't let us listen to. Like there was just like we'd get away for a second. It was fun.
I love that, man. I love that. It seems like you had a close relationship. Do you still have a close relationship, or is it different now? Or would you say you still have a close relationship with your parents?
Yeah, I still have a good relationship with both of my parents.
Love that, man.
Yeah, I'm very blessed in that regard.
Love that. Stevie, does the name Natalie ring any bells from kindergarten?
Oh shit! Bro? I didn't realize I was walking into one of these Nardwuar style interviews.
Here we go.
How the fuck do you know all this, bro?
Research.
That's impressive. Yeah, I used to have a crush on this girl named Natalie when I was in kindergarten, and I used to write her little love notes, and I'd tape a quarter to the note so that she could buy a chocolate milk at lunch.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Love it. So you were a player since day one.
I don't know about that, but I certainly had aspirations.
Aspirations. I love that. And what year then was it in school where you did the Nelly song? Didn't you do like...
Bro, how do you know this stuff? After the interview, you have to tell me how you found this stuff. I was probably in I think 6th grade, and Air Force Ones came out, and me and my friends memorized all the lyrics. We were going to do it in the talent show. I remember I had the Murphy Lee part. I used to love Murphy Lee. Yeah, bro, that's crazy. How do you know that?
It's not. It won't be as cool when I tell you where I found it after. You'll be like, oh, that makes sense. But for now, it seems cool.
Okay.
So you had, obviously, Nelly. In your teenage years, what's the type of music you would have been listening to, Stevie? When do you remember maybe the epiphany? Was it an epiphany moment where it struck you, where you're like, wait, I want to do this for real? Or was it just kind of over the span of years where you developed into an artist?
Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, we used to listen to all Bay Area music. So we'd listen to Mac Dre and Drew Down and E40, Too Short and Nicotina and J Diggs and Mac Mall and Doobie and all, and and I was at that point, when you're a teenager, you're really looking for identity. You don't know who you are, and so you cling to things. And so that was Bay Area rap was a thing that I clung to. And I remember we hate anything that wasn't from the Bay was whack to us. We'd frisbee your CD out of the car. It's the first question you'd ask when someone would play some new rap songs, where's this guy from? And if he wasn't from the Bay Area, I was not rocking with it. And which was cool because I think there's something really beautiful about regional culture, stuff that can grow in a region, that there's this inside joke kind of this you're on the inside, there's this insider knowledge, but in some ways I think it stunted my ear or my taste because there's so much good music out there that I was just rejecting because it wasn't from my area. And then I got older and I started listening to more and more music. And when I started, in high school, I would rap sometimes for fun. I would freestyle on the bus on the way to football games. And then, I started, I would rap in the car with my friends sometimes. But then after high school is when I started writing and recording songs for the first time. And even then, it was just for fun for a while. It took me a while to decide, oh, this is the thing that I want to do.
Stevie, you mentioned there about do you think that's something unique to the Bay, that it has such its own culture? It's almost like a kaleidoscope of culture with the amount of unique things that is in the Bay. San Francisco, such a melting pot. But do you think other places, like, do you think LA and New York has that, or do you think the Bay is by itself with it? It just has such a melting pot where, okay, there's other music going on, but we like what we like here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's regional culture all over. I think, yeah, like, and you know, like, there's a sound and a style of dress and a style of slang and everything that comes out of like Atlanta or LA or New York, or and then the Bay Area certainly has it. There's regional culture all over, but I think in some of the other cities they went mainstream. Like, not to say that they sold out, but like those regional cultures became, right. If you look at, right, like the Not Like Us video just came out, and that's a ton of regional, like South Central LA culture, right? The dancers and the the dancing, the clothes, everything about it. But that's just on such a large platform, because Kendrick Lamar is one of the biggest superstars in the world, and so I think there's something kind of romantic about the golden era of Bay Area.
That kind of maybe
Like
late
hip-hop
90s,
culture.
early 2000s kind of almost?
Yeah, because these guys were huge superstars to us, but if you drove 100 miles, people didn't know who they were. So it was like there was this weird thing of like you had to be there feeling, because it didn't really penetrate the mainstream. Obviously, like Too Short and E40 did. Rappin' Forte signed a big deal after Players Club. Like there was, there were some guys that penetrated, but there were a lot of guys that I grew up listening to that I'd meet people from another state and they had no idea what I was talking about.
Damn.
So I think that there's something there, but I don't know. I think the Bay Area's regional culture is unique, but I don't think that regional culture is like specific to the Bay Area, if that makes sense.
No, I feel that too. Stevie, from all these different artists from the Bay, you're freestyling in your high school, and then after high school you started want to take it more serious. Your friend Andre moves to your boy Andre moves to LA. Andre starts doing really well. You're back working in restaurants. What's happening in that period of your life when you're working in them restaurants? Andre's moved to LA. You probably wanted to move to LA, but maybe weren't in the mindset yet. What was that period like for you?
Sure, yeah. So Andre and I grew up together. We were in a band together in middle school, and we were always friends. He moved to LA and started working in music. My life got pretty like misguided, I feel like, in that, like in my late teens, early 20s, I was, like really enthused with drugs and alcohol and sort of some lifestyle stuff that came with that, and in and out of like, less than savory, occupation or like ways to make money. And then like, falling back into the restaurant jobs as like an easy fall back, and trying to, it's just like, I was just growing up and trying to figure myself out, and, drinking a lot, not very happy, like partying a lot, just like, lost and not making a lot of progress, I felt like, in life. And yeah, making some music, doing the SSOG thing. And there was a desire to take it more seriously, but there was like, I think, an unwillingness to commit and to let go of like certain old lifestyle patterns. And like, I think there was a fear of like how much I would have to grow to really make that my life.
Damn. That's a quote. How much you would have to grow in order to make that your life. And what was that growth? What was, and you don't have to answer this, it's a personal question, but what was it that maybe drink or drugs or whatever was filling? What was the hole? I know you said you were lost, but was there more than that? Was there something making you lost? Was there things that you were putting off dealing with that you had to deal with once you cleaned up your life in order to take that next step with your career?
Yeah, tons of stuff. Facing yourself is like, layers of an onion or whatever. There's a lot of, choices that I made in my past that I had to confront, and just like learning how to be comfortable with myself and find, like a meaningful self-esteem and all that. And then, you know, you juxtapose that against being public facing for work, and you have to be really comfortable with yourself to let people into your life. And you got to be, you know, it's like so there's a lot of stuff there. And I think it happened slowly for me. There wasn't like a moment, you know, we left, me and Chris and Will, we moved to Los Angeles. And when I got here, I think that was a moment of, I realized how much fucking better everybody was than me at music. Like I'm going, you know, like in the Bay Area, like I hang out with my friends from my hometown. I drink at the same bars. Like I'm the only guy who's making music, and I'm kind of good at it. And I play some shows, and some people come, and you know. And then I get to LA, and it's like I realized really quickly, like I didn't have anything on my resume that was going to get me anywhere in this town. And I go to sessions, and I meet people, and I'm watching them work, or I'm listening to their music, and I'm like, fuck, dude, people are running circles around me here in this city. I just like it was like, like big fish, small pond. Like I moved into the big pond, and I was like, damn, I'm tiny. And I think that's a pretty common experience for people coming to LA, because everyone who's kind of something in their hometown comes here, you know, and then you're like, oh shit.
Is it like 50,000 people every day leave LA or something, and 100,000 go there? I know it's some crazy stat like that.
I don't know, but I believe it. Yeah, so I got here, I realized that I needed to make fucking drastically better music. And, you know, a bunch of things kind of conspired that led to me deciding to do the Call Me Stevie Ray project, and go make a solo album. I linked up with Andre, you know, we made Free, and that was the beginning. And then I was on a path. Like at that point, I believed in this project. I believed in my ability to have a career in music, and I believed that music was like a path, like a vehicle that I could use to grow as a person, and to turn my life around, to have a different experience. And I think that was the beginning of a lot of change for me.
Wow. Stevie, before we popped on here, I just mentioned the Circles Mac photo behind you. Mac is one of my heroes. Like I have a very strong connection to Malcolm, aka Mac, and I always will. You spoke about having your own issues with drink and drugs, moving to LA. How did the Mac death affect you? Considering that he's an inspiration, considering like you had your own problems, you're moving to LA. Obviously, Mac lived in LA for years. How did that affect you when it happened?
You know, I was surprisingly bummed about it. I don't normally have a very strong emotional reaction to celebrity deaths. Because I just I don't know that. You know, it's like it's sad, but it's sad when anyone dies, especially young people, and people die all the time. So, but I remember it hitting me kind of hard, and you know, like I have some specific memories of like moments of being sad about it, and it surprised me. I think it's you know, it's a bummer that we first and foremost, it's sad that like a young person died who was struggling with alcoholism and addiction. That's just a tragic thing that happens in the world all the time. But you know, he was also like growing so much. The music was changing. Selfishly, it's like, damn, I wonder what the next records were going to sound like, because the sound was evolving so fast. And I think there's like a unique connection to. I think a lot of people in the same age range have a specific connection to Mac Miller, because he put out so much music that, you know, like when he was a high schooler and he was cutting class and smoking weed, I was a high schooler and I was cutting class and smoking weed. And when he was like in his early 20s and he was making this kind of sad experimental drug music, I was, you know, experimenting with, like, I was bummed out on drugs and having a weird time. So this weird music resonated with me. And then like his later music was kind of about evolution and growth and self-discovery. And, you know, so there's a feeling of like kind of growing up alongside him, I guess, that I think a pocket of us who like were on the same timeline as him, there was like a sort of unique closeness. But yeah, I was really bummed.
Yeah, man. There's I want to just tell you something and then transition into something about your catalog. But So, Mac, you'd be familiar with Kids. So, I don't ever say this, but I'm not a Mac stan, but I'd be quite familiar with his career. But you'd be familiar with Kids, and there's a song on Kids, right, called "The Spins." So, the Kids mixtape was a mixtape. It came out in Dat Piff back in 2010, August 20th or August around that August 2010, and the album or the mixtape came out. And then on its 10-year anniversary, they re-released it on streaming services. Well, one of the songs called Spins, that has a huge sample, I can't remember the band, was a great song. And it never popped off. It wasn't a single from the mixtape, but they put it on streaming, right? If you go onto Mac's Spotify right now, his biggest song on Spotify has 750 million streams. And it's The Spins that was re-released on Spotify. Yeah. So when it comes to catalog, and the same thing happened with a song called Love Lost that they re-released there, I think a year or two ago. That's on like 250 million or something. So in terms of catalog, just because a song doesn't pop off doesn't mean at the right moment or sometime in the future that it may have its shine. And the reason I'm saying that is you have a catalog from 2019, from that 2019 period. What was the vision? What was the vision of Call Me Stevie Ray? Because I know you had another Spotify. You made another Spotify, didn't you? And then you had a second Spotify called Call Me Stevie Ray. And I was wondering how come there was two Spotifys.
Yeah. So I went by Stevie Ray when I started, and then it was a search engine disaster because Stevie Ray Vaughan was crushing me. And I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's my fucking hero. He's my namesake. So it's not like, but I just realized that I put myself in a bad spot. And so I just switched it to Call Me Stevie Ray so that people could find it. And I transferred all the music over to Call Me Stevie Ray. It was like, I think before Late Bloomer, I made that decision.
Yeah. What was the vision? So in that 2019 period, obviously you dropped Free, and what was the vision from that 2019 period?
I think I just really wanted to. I felt like I wanted to help as many people as possible, and I know if you asked me then, I had a really big vision, but it's hard to connect to it now. I was just making music. I felt like I learned how to make music and really be honest and be myself for the first time. And I felt like I took ownership for the entirety of the project. Like, I think for the longest time working in groups and stuff, there was always kind of once it was all on me and I had to make every decision. What are we going to wear in this video? How are we going to shoot it? What's the shot list? What's the treatment? What's even working with Andre and being in the room for production and being able to decide let's put a bridge, let's do a key change, let's take this drum out, all that. I felt like I had control over what I was making in a meaningful way for the first time in my life. And I just wanted to try to make something that was honest and reflected me, and I was really excited to be involved in all that stuff. And that was it. I look back and it was I think it was just it's still a lot of that music. I was expressing the same feeling of being lost, and that was just the most honest thing that I had to say. But really, yeah, I think I was just trying to I don't know, do what all artists are doing, take whatever I'm going through and make something and hope that it's helpful to somebody else.
Stevie, when you began finding your flow, began finding your steps in LA, and as you said, just be honest with yourself and with the music and help as many people as possible. Were you already into Buddhist literature, and did that help you with that? Or did that come slowly? Were you always into Buddhist literature, or did you pick up? Because I know there was a time period where you were picking up yoga, you journal every day. We'll get to that in a second. But did the Buddhist literature help you become yourself and just be more free with the music? No pun intended.
For sure. 100%. Yeah, I always, I think my dad was the first person to kind of put me on to some of the Buddhist ideas, and he gave me this book. It's funny, it's right here.
Class. This wasn't premeditated. This is just happening.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama's Little Book of Inner Peace. He actually didn't give it to me. It was on his bookshelf, and I took it. You can see it's falling apart. I've had this thing forever. I bought him another one and replaced it eventually. But yeah, I remember I used to peel that off the shelf and read it, and I really liked it. And then I took it with me, and I started to meditate, and yeah, I think that was the beginning of like a search for a spiritual concept. And
What is spirituality to you, Stevie?
oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like it's the backbone of my life, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like it's I think it's the power through which like I'm carried in life. Like it's what I rely on as a guide, and you know, in and of myself, I have very little power. But in connection with something greater than myself, I seem to always have what it takes to do what's in front of me. And that's just how I try to live my life, I guess.
Well, you spoke about meditation there, Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to be able to be at one with yourself when you began meditating?
I don't know if I've ever done that. I mean, I just sit. And yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff, Sometimes it's like breathing, sometimes it's visualization.
Maybe what's your favorite? What's your favorite type of meditation? Might be a better way of putting it.
I don't know. I mean, I probably just to sit in silence. I don't know. I don't like. I enjoy meditation. It's a daily practice for me. It's something that's helped me a lot and taught me a lot. But I don't consider myself like an expert or like a knowledgeable person in that regard. I just think to try and forfeit this first person perspective. Like generally I walk through my life as me, and I'm thinking with my thoughts and my brain and my intellect, and I'm trying to problem solve, and I'm trying to make meaning out of things. And to just sit for, 5 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever amount of time it is, and try to just let go of all of that and just see what happens, see what comes to me. And just try to assume a different perspective, one that isn't like from the first person, from the self, or just to release that and to see what happens. Like I couldn't begin to tell you like what meditation is or isn't or how any of that, but like in my life, if I can try to relinquish the perspective of the self and have a different experience, good things tend to come from that.
I love that. Stevie, the reason I bring up spirituality, meditation, journaling, it's all, I would say, staple points in my life. But it's funny because I don't like chatting to anyone about spirituality. It's funny, like, I actually, like, don't like chatting to anybody about it. So that, like, if someone asks me spiritual, I'll go, yeah, I'm spiritual, yeah. And they'll start asking me questions, and I'll just slowly move away.
Right.
Because I'm just not, like, big into, like, I know what I believe and, like, where I am at with it, and it's not something I usually kind of discuss it. So I appreciate you discussing it. But you're wrong about meditation there. For me, meditation, like... So one of the things I spoke about on my podcast a lot, but something I struggle with is intrusive thoughts. Like my brain will just like a ammunition in a Uzi, and just go pop, 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 and like it's like a tornado. It's very hard to control, but so much so it's hard to control that like it would like put me into spirals of like very dark places in my life, like just like in terms of not being able to leave my house, my bedroom, like just being in very, very dark periods. But fortunately, from like meditation, physical, and just like looking after the whole entire temple and everything that surrounds the temple, I've made like really great progress in my life. But the biggest thing is meditation, and it's something, man. I find so many excuses, Stevie, not to meditate. Like I'll be just looking around and like, well, I could meditate now. I was like, oh, what's this Instagram messenger? What's this TikTok? Or I'll do anything. I was like, oh, I could meditate now, but I could make a song. Let me just go make the song.
Of course, yeah.
Like sometimes I have a positive distraction, but most of the time it just be rubbish distractions.
Yeah.
But you were on about the kind of removing just like this one way, like this first person kind of perspective maybe. For me, it's a type of meditation I do is I close my eyes and I imagine I'm looking at planet Earth, and I imagine I become the stardust, which is just nothing, just like complete nothing. I'm not happy, I'm not depressed, and it's not that I'm numb. It's just that I'm complete at peace And it's just like, it's like almost clearing out the vessel. It's just like any blockages, just wiping everything away. And then after 10 or 15 minutes, I'll click my fingers and open my eyes and, I'm back on planet Earth. I get to feel all this stuff again. And I kind of almost like appreciate a little bit now. Don't get me wrong. I don't appreciate when I be feeling shit, but like it almost like you learn, you understand that like it's important to feel the human experience. But that's just how I view meditation. Stevie, just on journaling there, why do you journal?
Oh, I think it just helps me to take. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that you deal with I relate to those thoughts and going to those places, and I know how painful that is. So I appreciate you being honest with me about that, and I'm happy that you have tools that help you to experience that in a way that's like safer for you. Yeah, journaling. I think one of the many reasons that I journal is to deal with my intrusive thoughts, because a lot of times a thought gets stuck on a loop in my head, and if I write it down, it's almost like I think of the thoughts as like little people with like little voices, right? So there's like a guy in my head who's like, don't forget that we got this thing tomorrow. Don't forget that we got this thing tomorrow. Oh, what if you don't get up on time? And what if you like, or what if you're not a good enough person? And what if we forget to go to the gym? And like, there's all these little like, sometimes if I write them down, it almost like lets that guy know, like, I heard you, I got it. We got this thing at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Like, you don't need to remind me every 30 seconds because, and so just to put it somewhere and let it have an existence, it's like it's fighting to be materialized. So you put it on the paper. Now it exists in a physical form. It's there. I can look at it and it can be released. I do that a lot at the end of the day because it's really hard for me to fall asleep. And I'll just be like, what's all the stuff that I need to do or that I can't stop thinking about? Like, put it on the paper so that I can let it go. I like to write my goals down. I like to chart my progress. Like, I think it's, if I'm writing every day, I can look back. I can see, like, there's documentation. It gives me some clarity. And, yeah, and I think it's just, like, I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons why I journal. But it's just a tool that helps me at its core.
Yeah, man. I love that. I think something so powerful about journaling, Stevie, is that, like, sometimes when you're just in the course of life and you're just doing from your work, from like gym, relationships, whatever it may be, it's like almost things get a bit blurry and 3 weeks has gone past. And we're like, where the earth did them 3 weeks ago? But when you journal, you're laying out the timeline of what's happening. And if you lay out a timeline, I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan. And be a big supporter of his work. And on his journaling, he used to, when he was going through a good flow and in a good routine and whatnot, he'd list everything that he was doing. He was brushing his teeth maybe this time or in the gym or everything. So then when he was going through a bad time, what does he do? It was like, well, what was I doing back then? Let me just check that. Like, it's just staples. It's a timeline of your life.
Yeah. You can chart your progress. And you can be like, oh, shit, when I'm doing good, I brush my teeth every morning at 7:30, and it's
small things. It can often be small things, just like very.
And then you're like,
minute things.
now I'm finally brushing my teeth for the first time at 11:30, and it's like you look at what's going on a day where you're doing well and a day where you're doing bad, and you're like, oh, I guess it makes sense why I was doing bad. You're like, oh shit, when I'm doing good, I do all this stuff, and when I'm doing bad, I'm not doing any of it. Fuck, maybe I should do some of that shit.
You're like, Eureka! Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
100%. Yeah.
100%, man.
It's funny how
Dope.
it works.
I wanna read you some quotes from your music, if that's okay, Stevie.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, before I read your quotes, do you still have your John Travolta cup?
What?
Do you still have your John Travolta cup? The one that the coffee cup that if you put hot water in it, it goes like.
I think it's Nicolas Cage.
John, damn it! No, I knew that too. Shit, Nicolas Cage. Shout out my boy Nick Cage. Yeah, the Nick Cage cup.
No, that's actually not my cup. I was at that time in my life. I was staying with some friends, and it was their cup.
That was a gangster ass cut, man. You should,
It was
low
a
key
funny
should have
cut,
done like
but
the book and just took it.
yeah, just swiped it. Yeah. Well, I was out of money and they were letting me stay for free in their house. So
Shout out
probably,
the friends, man. Shout out the
yeah,
friends.
good, really good people.
Guys, you should not steal.
Probably don't steal from them.
Yeah, you should not steal from anyone. Is it wrong to steal a Bible, said Kendrick Lamar once upon a time? Probably. Anyhow. Oh yeah, a couple of little things before. Does Little B still follow you on Twitter, or is he not follow you anymore?
To my knowledge, he still follows me.
Shout out Little B, man. Shout out
Yeah,
Little
shout
B.
out Lil B.
So one of my favorite projects of yours is the EP you did with Swish. Really love how stripped back it is. I don't know if it was intended, but I could hear the Mac influence on the instrumentation like so much with Swish on that, just from the keys and the simplicity of it.
I don't think it was, but I see that. It's funny. Me and Swish started an EP yesterday.
Oh, sick! Shout out Swish, man.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool dude. He seems like a real cool dude.
He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. I love that guy to death.
On the song "Nice to Meet You," the quote reads, "Dear Mama, I'm sorry I ain't been calling lately. I tell myself it's the cost of being concentrated. It's complicated. It's hard to start the conversation. I don't know what to say when all my thoughts are racing." Powerful line. Powerful line.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in that. I guess I'm not sure what am I supposed to talk about the quote or.
We can sit in silence. We can chat about it. Whatever you want to do, Stevie. I know. Yeah. What does that mean to you, first of all, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Sure. Yeah. Well, no. I'd like to hear what you think first, because.
This is really. Oh yeah, I got a good one here for you, Stevie. So, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to have a great connection with my mother, and have done I have done for years. Like we went to. I know you're familiar with Team Backpack, and I want to touch on a little bit of Team Backpack and whatnot. But
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I went to Team Backpack back in the day with my mother, and like I was one of the only Irish people there, and me and her traveled to LA, and man, it was the most wholesome and one of my sweetest memories I'll ever hold. Like when my mother goes to the next universe and whatever time of her life, like that's one of my memories I'll hold very close. Shout out the mother though, she's nice and healthy. Shout out her.
Good.
I'm able to ring my mother. I'm able to ring her at a like now and just chat to her. Like I won't do it, but I'm able to ring her and just put on the mic here and just chat openly. Like she's my best friend, one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Like, but I know a lot of people who can't do that. I know a lot of people who, whatever reason, they can't just pick up the phone and ring their mother. They don't have that opportunity. And sometimes it's because, okay, the relationship might not be there, but other times the mother might want the person to ring, but the person doesn't know how to ring. They don't know, well, what do I say when I ring? Like, should I ring? Will that be like the right thing to do? How do I what do you chat about? And I'm very grateful that like I could just chat with the mother about anything. But I was actually thinking of one particular person that I was like, they don't have maybe the emotional understanding or the understanding of a person that you could just ring your mother and just like chat, and that their mother would really appreciate that. Like, cause man, I seen a beautiful quote. It's something along the lines of, your mother has a full entire life, but then once you were born, every good thing you do is an accomplishment in her eyes. And it's like every time you win, it's just another accomplishment in her life. It's just another smile. But so that's what I think of when I think of like that line. I think of like maybe not knowing maybe wanting to ring, but maybe at that moment not knowing maybe what to say.
Sure.
Is kind of what brought me.
It makes me very happy that you think of a specific person and a specific, like, that's like I think the greatest accomplishment when I write something is that when someone else hears it, that they think of an exact experience, like, from their life. Because that's the ultimate goal. Right. Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think you nailed it.
Nice, Rap Genius. I don't know if you were on back in the day explaining lyrics in Rap Genius. I was fire at that. Shout out my boy Rob Merkman.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times I prefer to let. I don't know. I've had so many songs that meant such a specific thing to me, and I was certain that that's what they meant when they wrote it, you know? Like I was like, "Oh, this is about this." And I think if I had found out that they meant something different, it would have crushed me, you know?
How do you find that,
So,
Stevie? With music, sorry to interrupt, but with music, I'll listen to a song I've made and I'll know exactly what I intended with that song. But the moment you press play for somebody else or someone hears it, be it in the Bay, someone listens to Call Me Stevie Ray, or out in Zambia, someone listens to Stevie Ray, or Ireland, or wherever your music has reached. And once they press play, they could be hearing something completely different that means so much to them, but something that you're like, wow, that's what you heard?
yeah, it happens to me all the time. People message me and they're like, they tell me their interpretation or what they got out of it, and it oftentimes has nothing to do with what I was writing about. And I don't ever want to tell them otherwise. If that's the experience that they had with them, that's exactly what it means. It's not really up to me what it means, and I don't think it's that important. Like I'm just trying to capture a moment in my life where something's happening, and like you know, I'm just trying to capture a feeling and put it out there, and then other people can have whatever experience they want with it. So I just think if that's what it means to you, then that's what it means. Because I have the same experience. I'll write stuff of my own, and then I'll listen to it back later, and I'll have the same experience that we're describing, where it'll mean something different to me now than what it meant when I wrote, or I'll find another meaning in there that I know I didn't think of when I wrote it, but I'm like, oh, that's like another whole nother entendre, or that's a whole nother like thing that could mean. And sometimes I prefer those meanings to the ones that I wrote that I intended, and I'll just like change. I'll be like, that's what it means now.
I like that, Stevie. I like that. What if a fan could describe your music in a couple sentences? How would you want them to describe it, Stevie?
Oh fuck, I don't know. However they want to describe it, you know.
Come
I
on
feel like
now,
it's the
Stevie.
same
Come
thing.
on now. You gotta give me something.
I know. I feel like so
Listen, people will be
cliche
listening like,
kinda.
push him, man. Get him to say something.
Um,
No worries, then, if
I
you
don't
don't
know.
want to do
Well, no. I think it's a dangerous question for me to go down that road, because it really embarks into like the land of ego. Like it's about, how do I want to be perceived? What do I want people to think that I am? And that's none of my business. And it's also like I can't control that. I don't know. Like I'm sure that. Yeah, I mean, I hope that people think that it's honest, or like, I honestly, like, I hope they connect to it, and that I hope it helps somebody in any capacity, like that it's of value to someone, because I know music helped me a lot in my life. It helped me to deal with my feelings. Like, you know, it's like, I remember like a specific time in my life where like all I could listen to was like Blonde by Frank Ocean, because I got my heart broken, and every song like felt like it made perfect sense in that moment. And then you know, like I remember like listening to What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Dominic Fike like constantly, because it just like made perfect, like it was the only thing that I wanted to feel at that time, and I was going through something, I needed that. Or like I had a similar experience with swimming, like I was, you know. And so it's like I hope that somebody has an experience where the music that I make like holds them, or serves them in a time where they need it. And that could be just like enjoying time with their family. Like it's been so cool to see Grateful in all
Oh,
this
man.
content. To
Loved
see,
seeing that, yeah.
you know, like I think there's like over 1 million videos that have been
Wow.
made to that, and it's people like celebrating like graduations and holidays and getting a puppy, and it's like it's sick to know that I made something that contributes like that.
Goosebumps, man. Goosebumps.
Yeah, that is like a part of someone's happy moments. Like that's so cool. But you know, as far as like how I'm perceived, it's like, you know, like how people would describe me. I don't know. I used to be very intentional about this, right? Like I used to be like, oh, this is the vibe that I want. This is what I want people, how I want people to perceive me, and it really held me back because I was trying to control things I can't control, which is what people think of me, and like what, you know, it's like my job is to be as authentic as I can be and to make whatever like. There's a thing inside of me. There's like a compass inside of me that tells me when I'm being honest, when I'm onto something, and when I'm forcing it. And it's like when, you know, when we tap into the thing where like we're aligned, and I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to make right now, because this is what's the truest thing I could do right now. That's all I want. I want to be tapped into that as often as possible. And people are going to think whatever they think, and they're going to like it or hate it. Because I'm sure there's some people that think that I'm like, you know, like some people probably like, oh, he's a real rapper. Like he makes real music. And it's like, well, what does that mean about other music? Is it not real? Or, you know, there's probably some people who are like, oh, like corny white boy makes like sad music. You know, there's like, I don't know. Like I can't control what people are going to think. I hope that I guess this is a long-winded, probably like annoying answer to your question, but at its core, I hope that. Oh fuck! Now I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about what maybe people might think
Right.
versus genuine, and what is genuine, and what you hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I lost it.
That's all right, man.
It'll come back to me.
That's all right. Stevie, I just want to point out two things out there. One, from getting to like have conversations with more people on the podcast, it's interesting when you ask a question and someone will like your brain will start to open up and you'll go on a flow. And it was funny how you said it was a long answer, and I don't think it was at all, because I'm watching you in real time as your brain is figuring out where to go and what to say, and that's a very beautiful thing. You're just completely in flow and you're trying to figure it out yourself.
Right. It's funny. I just remember what I was going to say.
Oh, great. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, perfect. No, it's like, I think at its core, what we're doing when we create is like, I'm having an experience that feels very real to me. And I just assume that other people have to be feeling the way that I feel. I can't, I'm not that unique. So it's like my experience has to be somewhat universal. Other people have felt all the feelings that I felt: fear, pain, anguish, desire, joy, peace, love, like whatever I'm going through. And so in the moment, it's like, I hope that I can tap into something that's honest, because like it's like whatever I'm going through has got to be universal at some level. So I hope that I can tap into that thing, and that the other people who are experiencing what I'm experiencing find it. You know, like the people who are sharing the thing with me get to share it with me, and the people who aren't interested in it can have whatever opinion they want of it, and that's totally valid, because I don't like a bunch of shit, dude. There's a lot of shit that's not for me.
Yeah, I respect that, man. I respect that. Stevie, I just want to point out one thing, and then I kind of go into these fun questions, and then I won't keep you too long. There's a few other things I just want to touch on. But you just said there the beautiful thing about grateful, and I'm sure you've thought about this from time to time, or maybe you don't think about it, but just how you had like your down moment and you attached Dominic Fike or Frank Ocean, someone. It could be hundreds, and it might only be one person, but it still is meaningful if it's only one person. There's someone out there right now, Stevie, that one of their happiest moments, you're attached to that. And when they hear one of your songs, that brings them to one of the most happiest moments. And that right there, Stevie, that's a job well done. That's a job well done. So
thank you.
Massive daps on that.
It makes me really happy.
As it should, Stevie. As it should. Right, Stevie. Get into now. This little section's called Quick Fire Questions. It's just fun questions I ask. Short answers. You don't have to overthink it.
Okay.
Now, sometimes, depending how I'm feeling, I'll put in cool sounds here, like do. Sometimes I don't. Sure, look, we'll see how it goes. So, Stevie, favorite cereal?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. No, Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. Man, you Americans, though, with your food, I don't know what you guys do put in. It tastes great, but I don't know if it'd be too healthy for us.
Oh, no, it's terrible. It's
but it'd be tasting good.
It's fucking delicious, and it'll destroy the roof of your mouth, but it's so good.
Favorite movie of all time? Or favorite movie right now, whichever is easiest. Hook. What's Hook now? Which movie is that?
Hook. It's a Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman.
Legendary. Yeah. Shout out Robin Williams, legendary. One of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Favorite song at the moment?
Messy by Lola Young.
Dope. Celebrity crush?
Oh, fuck. Who is it? God, I know it's got to be someone. I don't know. I'm like not plugged in with celebrities.
No, that's all good. Or anyway, it doesn't have to be like, it could be like an actor from when you're younger or something, or someone you're like, hey, shout at her. She's beautiful.
Oh, what was her name? Eliza Dushku, I think is how you say her name.
Dushku. Okay, that's an
She
intriguing
was in a bunch of movies that my sister watched when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with her.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Favorite series? Do you have any favorite series on Netflix or anything like that? Or are you not that kind of guy?
Not a big series person. I'm not a huge movie or TV watcher.
That's all good. Favorite book at the moment or of all time?
I'm going to say Dharma Bums by Jack Kerouac.
Okay, dope. I shall note that and take it down and see that. And last but not least, Stevie, if you could make a song with anyone alive, who would you make a song with?
Anyone alive? I would say maybe my friend Jared Solomon. I love his production style. I would let Solomonophonic is his like moniker. Or I've been really into Dominic Fike lately, so I'd love to make one with him. Felly too.
Fat man. I followed Felly, man, for I think 10 years. 2011. I found Felly I found him on Bandcamp. What a chill dude, man. Yeah, I found him on Bandcamp. I used to buy his beats.
In.
Yeah.
He's tapped in.
Great producer. Sure. He used to do these great producer videos. Actually, I might try get him on here because I followed that dude for years. Shout out you, Steve.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And have you seen the Dominic Fike documentary?
I think I've seen bits of it. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
Very good. Yeah, it was on YouTube, but then it got taken down. But it kind of goes through the period of him about to sign and all the pressure because he's looking after all of his family from the deal and stuff. But incredible. Stevie, appreciate that for the short form questions. Mm-hmm. I mentioned Team Backpack. Yeah. So now I couldn't find any Team Backpack ciphers with you in it, but did you do Team Backpack? For any of those that don't know, Team Backpack was an incredible pivotal platform from, I'm going to say, maybe 2011 to like 2016 that accommodated lyricism, like brought lyricism and so many great artists to the forefront. I'm not going to say mainstream, but certainly global appeal, because like it was huge where I was from, and I knew a lot of people who went to it. It started in the Bay. What was that? What did that mean to you? And did you do any freestyles on Team Backpack? Or?
No, I was never in any of the ciphers. I wanted to be desperately bad. Team Backpack was like, it was this crazy cultural like thing that was happening on YouTube, and this global phenomenon, and it was like right there in my backyard.
Crazy momentum.
Started in the Bay Area, and so like I was constantly like around. I was at all the events. I wanted to be involved very bad, and I was friends with a bunch of people.
I know Cassidy. I'm not sure if you were your boy Cass.
Yeah, Cassidy lived with me for a while.
I think I met Cassidy in LA when I was down. I think
probably he was all over the place. And then like I was really I became friends with Avi and Catalyst and E-Money and
shout out. Man, jeez, the Bay, so many of them. Shout out Avi, man.
Yeah, A1. There, and like I've met one of my best friends, Lex Leosis, at one of those Team Backpack events. Who's an incredible artist, definitely worth checking out. She's got some great music. She got a new song, "Good Tequila," that I think is like one of the better songs of the year. It was a scene. It was a really big thing that was happening, and I was young and I was like aspiring, and artists were breaking through, like penetrating in this really interesting way. There's always these pockets of like this like combination of technology and culture. I feel like, there was SoundCloud, there was Team Backpack, and like the YouTube ciphers in general. TikTok obviously is the latest. There's like these places where artists are breaking through and people are finding a voice and being able to shift culture. And Team Backpack was a huge part of that. They were like a huge moment. And I was around all that. It was really cool to be a part of. And
rest in peace, Team Backpack. We're not going to go into why it collapsed, but god damn it, I was so annoyed when it collapsed. I was like, god damn it, guys, you're really on something good. But we'll keep it moving. My man, you mentioned TikTok. I want to segue into TikTok. So I was counting on now. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because you may know exactly how many. But I counted over in the year 2022, so just after Late Bloomer. Late Bloomer drops in 2021. Phenomenal album. Everyone should listen to that if you haven't. In the year 2022, now you started 2022 at like a ranch or something, or out in the countryside. I don't know where you were at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was out in the sticks.
was it? Do you mind saying the state or where it might have been? Or
Oh, it was in
or the ops
Hayfork,
might be listening.
California.
We want to keep. Where was it, Stewie?
It was in Hayfork, California.
Okay, wow. I counted again. Correct me if I'm wrong, but over 370 videos on TikTok in 2022.
Yeah, I wasn't counting, but I believe you.
That's a lot of videos, Stevie. What was it like to be able to do that many videos? Were you planning them? Were you doing like a bunch on a Sunday and lining them out? Were you just doing a video every day? What was it like posting 370 videos in 1 year?
Man, it was a mad dash. There was no organization. I was just running around trying to make as many videos as I could. Really, like, I found out that I could have a career by making videos. Like, for the first time in my life, I felt really, really empowered to have a career, because before that, it was like, you got to get picked for the Team Backpack Cypher, you got to get added to the playlist, or you got to get signed by the label. Like, there was always something that had to happen that was outside of my control. Or so it seemed. That's what my perception was, that was going to allow me to break through and to reach a new audience. And I finally was like, all I have to do is make interesting 30-second videos in the vertical format. And I was late to the party, but when once I realized that was possible, I was just like, yo, attack that as hard as you can. And I just went crazy. Like, I was just like, bro, what are you talking about? And I was like screaming from the mountaintops. Everyone went like, bro, you're not making TikToks? What are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You got a gold mine in your pocket right now. And I was just really inspired. I was really determined. I had a little bit of money. I didn't have a job. I didn't want to get a job. And I had this like little nest egg that I was living off of. And I was like, I'm going to make 1 million fucking TikToks, and I'm going to get a viral video, and I'm going to start making money on Spotify, and I'm not going to get a job. And it happened.
That's exactly what you did. What was it like the moment? Because again, a lot of them videos, 370 videos, first of all, bruh, massive daps, because that takes, I did the same year, I think I did like 100 videos, and I got burnt out after 100 videos, like just burnt out. The determination, did you ever feel any burnout? Or I know LaRussell has a great quote. Are you familiar? Actually, LaRussell, Bay Area, yeah. Huge LaRussell fan. I did like a mini documentary on him. I'll send you after if you want to watch it. But LaRussell has this quote, and I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not too good at quotes. But it's like, it's not that he has anything that keeps him going. It's that he has nothing that can stop him. And that really struck me, because I was like, how doesn't LaRussell get burnt out? How doesn't he get burnt? He's doing this like it's 24/7. I was like, because the office and the pergola out the back, it's in his house. There's no escape. And don't get me wrong, as an artist, you love your music, you love the environment, but sometimes you just need to walk away and just like breathe and get away from it all. So, did you feel any burnout? And if so, what did that look like?
Yeah, I burned out a lot. I was pretty unhappy. It was really, really frantic, manic energy that was driving me. Really high hopes, lots of low lows. It was, you know what I mean? It was beautiful, and it was a moment in time, and I was really inspired, and I was able to persist through a lot of like fear and tiredness because of that. It also came at a consequence, spiritually, physically, mentally. And it's just not what my life looks like today. And I'm trying to find a new orientation to that stuff. But I mean, LaRussell, like, I just think God made LaRussell different. Like, that man is special.
Yeah,
you know?
I believe that too. No, go on, sorry. Continue.
Like, that, like, I don't know. Like, he seems to be grounded himself and like energized and aligned, despite being constantly like, I've learned that I don't think that I have that much output in me, or maybe I do, but like, I have tried through the application of willpower to be that productive and that on all the time, and it's led me to be really unhappy. And so that's not for me. Like, there's a different path for me. I don't think that it means that I can't be successful. And maybe it means my career won't look like the Russells, which is fine, because how could it? Like, I'm not him and he's not me, and that's like, so I just think there's, however you slice it, but you do have to put out a lot. You have to share yourself a lot, which requires, in my experience, a very like deep and resounding self-esteem. You have to be confident and comfortable in yourself, and you got to be honest. Because if you're, that's, I think, what the Russell has, is that he's not curating. He's not like optimizing himself. He's not sharing a specific side of himself. He's not playing a character. Like, he's letting us see 360 degrees of LaRussell. And he seems to be confident and comfortable with himself 360 degrees, because he lets us see all that shit and he doesn't seem to give a fuck. It's not like he's only showing the good ones or the good angles, like, and it's like he was on live making songs the other day and he's like, he writes the song in 15 minutes, he records it in one take. That's just not what my process looks like.
It is a certain type of flavor, and like, I love LaRussell, but not like, this is not being like distasteful, but a lot of them songs don't hit. So like, when you make a vast amount, a lot of them do, and they're great songs. But when you do that, a lot of them don't hit. And that's just being honest as like a listener, or I'm sure he would agree too if he sat down. But then again, what does hitting mean? For me, hitting for him might be just a thought that he had, that he wanted to connect with music and put out in the world that one person is going to hear. So it's like, even though, because me and my friend Finn, when I kind of came across LaRussell and started kind of understanding him, I was like, right, I fucking love that he's making all this like music, and it's almost like real estate for him, the more music. But at the same time, is it quantity over quality? Like, is he losing the quality? But then you step back, and when you kind of understand LaRussell, you start to understand that it's getting each individual thought or how he felt in that moment and putting it in that moment, and that was that moment. And he's continually doing that, from the music to the content. It's continuing capturing whatever that moment was. And maybe he was feeling himself in that moment, or maybe he wasn't maybe feeling himself in this moment. And it's just a live TV show 24/7.
Yeah, and it's also like he's inspiring a bunch of people, and he's paving a new lane for independent artists. And it looks like it seems like he's making a lot of money for him and his family and all the people around him. And he's, so who's to say like what he's found a model that works for him, and it's
an original model, a never done before model.
And so I don't really have a judgment about, like, the songs can be whatever. Like, he's doing clearly like what God created him to do, and he's like in alignment, because look at the results. I don't, I'm constantly in pursuit of a way to share myself with people as much as possible and still protect whatever it is that I need as far as like privacy or spiritual alignment. Because, like, I think there's different, like, I am a little more selective of all the songs that I make. Not all of them go out. It seems like LaRussell just pumps them out, and he doesn't seem to have regrets about the ones. It's just not my, it's just a different thing. And so for me, yeah. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I did experience burnout. And like, I just think that everybody has to have their own relationship to the work. And like, LaRussell's fucking fantastic. I can't do that, I mean, I not to say I can't, like, not to be like in a limiting belief or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's in alignment with like it doesn't seem like that process is the right one for me.
I love that. A very honest and authentic answer, Stevie. I love that. Stevie, just one last thing there now. We're on about the 370 videos, and you did catch the video. What was that moment? Them emotions, what was that like in that, when you did hit that video? And what song, if you want to elaborate there?
Yeah, the first big video was the Just Be You video. And, earlier this year I fell in love with a girl. And that was a wild experience. I remember when I was in the shower when I had the idea to do the spoken word intro. And I started writing the script in my head. And I got out, and immediately I was like, we got to film this video right now. And we filmed it, and I was editing it, and I had a migraine, and I was like just trying to finish the video because my eyes hurt so bad. And it was a weird experience, and I had been burned out. I was done. I had told myself I was going to turn my phone off and go to the beach and leave my phone at home because I just needed to get a break from my phone and from TikTok and making videos. And I was editing that video. My head hurt so bad. And I remember when I edited it and I exported it, I had such a strong feeling about it. I was in my living room. I lived with a group of dudes at that point, and I was doing the fucking LeBron James and I was like, let this be the one. Let this be the fucking video that changes my fucking life. Like, I was screaming and beating on my chest. Like, I just had this like visceral feeling that this could be special. And I uploaded it, and I turned my phone off, and I went to bed, and I went to the beach the next day. And I like found out that the video was viral from my my friends. Somebody texted my buddy who I was with at the beach and was like, "Yo, you with Stevie? His video is going viral." And then I turned my phone on and I looked, and like the Spotify will tell you like listening now, and it was like the highest it's ever been. And I was like, every time I'd refresh, it was like 99 plus on the notifications, and I was like, holy shit, what's happening? And there was a joy, there was excitement, and I was like, oh my god, something's happening. We've started, and it was a really exciting feeling. Pretty quickly though, I was like, okay, let's do it again.
Trying to capitalize on that momentum, which often is the case when you strike gold. Well, we've struck it now. Let's go ham. Pardon me.
Yeah, I mean, it taught me a lot. It taught me a valuable lesson that I've learned multiple times over in my life, and God willing, we'll probably have to learn again. Which is just that like the destinations they're very underwhelming. Like all my life I wanted to be a professional rapper, and all of that year, all I wanted was a viral video. And the second I got it, I was like, okay, what's next? Like these things that we put on a pedestal of like, when I get this, I'll be so happy. It's like, it lasts so little. So if you're not enjoying the process, you're playing yourself, because like even if you get all the things you want, the feeling that you expect to get from that moment is going to be very fleeting. And so I've learned it's just not a sustainable way to live my life in pursuit of these like moments that I think are going to transcend how I feel. Like if I'm not happy now, I won't be happy then.
Great answer, man. Great answer. Stevie, also around the time you have the song with Connor, Mr. fucking TikTok himself, the iconic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That garnered great success too. How do you view Connor? And do you still chat to Connor, or was that more just of a song once and kind of more of an artistic relationship than a friendship?
Oh, no, I think the world of Connor Price. He's an incredible man and a very good friend.
Love that.
And a very talented musician. And I'm really grateful for him, no pun intended. He commented on the Just Be You video. I messaged him. We started talking. He was like, you should come to Vegas and meet my wife. He's like so kind and welcoming. And then I ended up sending him the song. I went out there, got to like meet, him and his family, and just very genuine, kind, good people, like incredible people. His wife Bree is fantastic and has like helped me a bunch. They're just like fucking grade A human beings. I couldn't be happier for them. They deserve the success so much. Jude, their baby boy, is a sweetheart. I think the world of them.
Shout out Connor, man. What a fucking the dream. Shout out Connor, man. Really, really living it.
He's doing so good. Yeah, I mean, he had me out in LA at his when he was touring, and yeah, they've just treated me so well and taken care of me at every stop. I have nothing but good things to say about them.
Love it. Stevie, are you still off the cigarettes, or are you on them, or how the cigarettes these days?
I haven't been smoking lately.
Love it, man. Fucking man, yeah. That's a fist bump there, because don't leave me hanging. I'm the king of being left hand, man. Or left hung. So many events where you're with other rappers and they do the handshakes. I actually, Lloyd Banks, G-Unit. I met him for the first time there 2 months ago, and I went for the dap, and he went for the knuckle touch, and I quickly changed it just in the right time, so it wasn't awkward.
And I was the classic mix up, dap or fist bump. Nobody knows.
Shout out Banks, man. Shout out Banks.
Too funny.
Love that.
Incredible.
I'm someone, who's ups and downs, had my struggles smoking, so I love hearing that you're not smoking. Stevie, I'm going to bring it to a close.
Okay.
It's been an absolute honor, man. It's really been an honor. Before I bring it to a close, I guess 2 questions. My first question, and it can be short answers, but if someone wants to be in your position, a professional rapper, and that's what you are, you're living your dream, you're a professional rapper. Mm-hmm. What are practical steps that an artist could take right now, as soon as they stop listening to this, in order to become a professional artist? What are the practical? Well, we'll touch on the spiritual maybe and the universal ones, but what are the practical steps an artist could take as soon as they stop listening to this?
Practice making music, freestyle, write, emulate your favorite artists, study them. I feel like people don't practice a lot. They just, when it comes to rapping, people just start rapping and writing songs. Practice is not necessarily writing and making songs. When you learn to play the guitar, you study. You learn a Jimi Hendrix song, you learn a Green Day song, you study all the greats, and you learn how to emulate them before you go to make your own stuff. And so that's what I would say. Practice, study the greats, and pick your favorite rapper and learn all their songs and record yourself rapping all their songs, and you'll be astonished how much worse yours sounds than theirs, and figure out why that is, and what tone, what is it with my voice, what is it with the timing, what is it with my delivery, how are they doing what they're doing. Just study the greats. The blueprint is there. People are fantastic. They'll show you the way. Love
that. Second question, when it comes to the universe in terms of spirituality, what is a step someone could take in order to be becoming aligned with who they are and wanting to achieve their dreams?
Let go. Just give up. Let go. Stop trying to control and let something else decide.
Very well said. Stevie, it's been an absolute honor. I appreciate you. I've been your host, the Ocean Flight 111, heading straight to full potential with Sarah Delays. Stevie, don't have a good day. Have a great day, my man. Perfect.
Thank you so much, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes these days. I'ma try my best to make this light, but if I don't wake up tomorrow, then the sun will still be out.